Howdly doodly do! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, to the Fashionably Late Reviews, where we are literally fashionably late about talking about video games. But heck, we still want to talk about video games. It's boiling hot. We are literally melting at the seams. It's not great. But joining me, melting at the seams, is the glorious, the fabulous, the amazing Amy Kate Alexander. How you doing?
Wondering where the seams are, but I don't know if I want to actually ask that question or not. Like, where are my seams? Wait.
You really want to go down this?
No, I don't. I don't want to go down this road. It's hot. I'm bothered. I played a lot of. I did the backlog thing. I played a lot of indie games.
Yeah, you did.
Mostly at the last minute.
Yes. And I played a AAA game, ladies and gentlemen.
How dare you play a AAA game? What? Who would do such a thing? Who would play a AAA game? Honestly,
I don't know. All I hear that when you hear AAA, I hear schmucks, I hear capitalism, I hear like they bought for reviews and everything. So yeah, I'm waiting for my money shortly. You know, just so you know. Spoilers alert for this game I'm talking about in a minute.
I think I'm slowly dragging you onto the side of capitalism is fucking terrible. It's funny. I do this to people apparently. You see when you said
my thoughts on capitalism are still the same, but just I think they can be done better.
When you said when I hear AAA, all I thought in my head was when I hear AAA, all I hear are foghorns. I don't know what that means, but it sounded funny. And that's how I write my videos, everybody.
There it is. And we're done, ladies and gentlemen. Bye. So long. The games we're going to be talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is F1 2021, The Life and Suffering of Sir Barnett, is it?
I think it's Brant. There's no voice acting in the game, so
yeah, that doesn't help.
Who knows?
Well, this one's going to be an interesting one. Let me see if I can get this one. Dorfromantik?
I just realized that I'm
Dorfromantik.
In my head, I've just gone through the list of the games that I gave me, and I'm just like
Dorfromantik.
Maybe I did it on purpose. Just play these games just for this segment. Dorfromantik.
Dorfromantik.
Again,
I think I was close at the end.
There's no voice acting in that game. In fact, there's no voice acting in any of these games. I had a very silent experience.
I can say the next one. Slipways, ladies and gentlemen, as well. And oh god. I think she does this on purpose, ladies and gentlemen.
I really didn't.
Just do this. Just do this.
I think it's again no voice acting. I think it's Pecaminosa.
It sounds like it, even though I would say the C. If it says Pika, then I would say the C should be a K. But Pika the saucer.
Pika.
Yeah, we're gonna let you say the names when you come to your part, ladies. Amy. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm out.
You're done. You're out. She's done, ladies and gentlemen. No more Amy.
It's gonna be. We've had Amy Unleashed episodes of podcasts this year. This is gonna be Amy's Lost Her Mind. This is an Amy's Lost Her Mind podcast. The heat.
Yes, the heat indeed. The heat indeed. I'm just gonna get, excuse me, the details up.
Oh wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna start with.
Not my game.
Not Amy's game. Not Amy's 4 games. She is going last for once. I am going first, as I will be reviewing EA's brand new studio that they just bought, Codemasters F1 2021. Right now on OpenCritic, it has a top critic average of 86 and an 89% critics recommend it, and it, on the OpenCritic rating, it is mighty. So is the high one, just called Almighty. I have to throw. I used
to be registered on OpenCritic, like as a critic on there. I used to know them all.
Yeah, just pick a 90. It's got to be one of the 90s, isn't it?
But I don't know.
But going back to it, ladies and gentlemen, this game is the general information is it is available on PC, PlayStation, and the Xbox, and the Xboxes as well. It is developed, as I already said, Codemasters, and it is published by Electronic Arts. The genres are simulation and racing. The full description: everyone has a beginning in F1 2021. Enjoy the stunning new features, including the thrilling story experience, Breaking Point, two-player career, and get even closer to the grid with real season start. Take your team to the top in the acclaimed 10-year to My Team career mode, or race head-to-head in a split-screen and multiplayer in multiplayer. Immerse yourself in the greatest racing spectacle on the planet and race with the authentic lineup of 20 heroic drivers and 10 iconic teams from the 2021 season. Amy, I have not played all of this game, but I have played the story mode, and I've played, I would say, enough of the career mode or the My Team mode to be able to give a good account of this game.
How
overall.
would you play all of a sports game?
That is true. I don't think it's technically even possible, but I am feeling confident enough to be able to say, I think this is the best F1 game ever made, Amy.
Better than F1 97?
F1 97, yes. I think
Holy
it's
shit.
like... I think finally F1 97 has finally been beaten at long last.
As a fan of F1 97 and only F1 97, would I enjoy this game more than F1 97?
Amy, I think you would love this game. I honestly, truly believe this.
Just before you go in, it's still mighty. I looked it up. Always blows my mind that Super Mario Odyssey is the highest reviewed game on OpenCritic, but it's just mighty. All the way to the top.
Yeah. So what happens when it comes to a new F1 seed, an F1 game coming out, ladies and gentlemen? Codemasters they basically keep to what works. If it ain't broke, they don't fix it. The driver mechanics are still the best they've ever been, still work and do everything that you needed to do. You can change the setup however you need to when it comes to your downforce. If you want to go to be the fastest, brilliant in straights and terrible in the corners, you can set that up perfectly and everything. They've tweaked a certain element to, like, for the rich mixing, you only have standard or lean now, and you can only really use lean when there's a safety car. It's now all about on DRS and the ERS and everything, which is I know there's a lot of technical terms there, but if you love F1, you'll know what I mean by that. This is also actually the most accessible game for a lot of people, where you can crack on, just come in and just enjoy the experience. You can put the full assists on, and you can just put the trigger down and drive away, just like you've done for the last previous few games. But they've also added in color blindness to help with people on that part. Like if you have the dynamic racing line, which I always use just to help myself, just to basically know where to drive, what side of what to drive for, and everything like that, and where to brake and everything. Like, I'm a very much not to the pro level or anything like that. I'm not even at the bloody amateur level. I'm a bloody baby ass baby.
You're here to have fun. And as we've learned,
Yes.
as we've discussed recently, that's
on many
what
occasions,
matters.
yes. I've absolutely loved these games, but the two things they've added this year. One, I haven't been able to do yet because I'm waiting for a certain good friend of mine to get this game eventually, but it might be a while. So we will talk about that when it all happens. Hopefully by the end of the year, I would hope. But there is a new element that is the thrilling story mode experience, Breaking Point, where you take the control of Aiden Jackson, the brand new rising star of F2, who joins a Formula One team of your choice. You get of the midfield teams. I have to be frank. You get to choose between Williams, Alfa Romeo, Haas, Aston Martin, and who was AlphaTauri. You don't get to choose the other ones higher because they're basically there's the middle team, and then there's the second levels, and then there's Hamilton and Verstappen because it ain't the cars it's supposed to, and everything like that. Because but no, yeah, you've got all of that. When I started this game, when I started the story mode, I'll say this right now. The acting ain't the best. I'll be frank there. The acting is not the best whatsoever.
I watched this
But,
I watched you play some of this on Twitch. I can
yeah,
confirm the acting isn't great.
yeah. Some of the lines are also, some of the dialogue is a bit cheesy, on the cheesy side, or even just on the bad side to it. Aiden Jackson, like I say, he's an up and comer, unexperienced F1 driver, should I say, driven all the way up to that levels and everything. And you go through the levels, you go through races, and it's a one-shot type of deal when it comes to the races. It's basically like 10 laps, you're here, get to here type of thing. It's not about driving the entire races. There are a couple of races you do where you drive the full race, but it's only like 25% of the race, so it's like 15 laps maximum, depending on which track. But mostly it's all about the story and everything. They brought back Devin Butler, who they brought in 2 years ago. Basically, he is the antagonist, and he's there to be nothing but the antagonist. And he does what they did on the 2 years ago. He's the biggest douche on this game. I
was going to say, does he successfully antagonize?
Oh hell yeah, he's the biggest douche in this game. But he also says things that you're just like, yeah, you know what? You're kind of right to a certain point here, but we know who you are, Devin Butler, so we know you're trying to manipulate this in a certain way to help you out and everything, which is really good. The way I would compliment this story is with Madden's long shot story mode they did a couple of years ago. The first one, not the second one. The first one I thought was really good. It was very heartfelt and very emotional as well. But for that one, I think what hurts that one was you didn't play that much American football. Over here, you play a lot more racing. You're in the car a lot in this Stop Breaking Point story mode, which is really, really good. I won't spoil because there's something that happens in it, and I won't spoil because they haven't announced that. They not announced it. They weren't pushing that. They were pushing a certain element that you are Aiden Jackson. And there's another thing that happens, which I won't spoil. But I think what I liked about it is that they gave you something different, and I really like the authenticness towards that. I really liked the heartfeltness to it at the end. I was just like, damn bastards! I'm a sucker to just the simple stories of just rising up in a good way and everything like that, rising above hate type of thing. And they do it in a really simple way, but it's just like, God damn you. And the last race, I was just like, damn, they really had got me. I was like really in the emotions with Amy. I was like, you saw me race it, you saw it. And I was just like, God damn it. Why are they doing this? They are toying with me. I don't think this is a story mode. This is not Naughty Dog or God of War or anything like that. This is a sports game. But I'll say this is 10 times better than anything of the story modes that FIFA have thrown out because they were nothing but garbage.
I have a pitch. Someone get me Neil Druckmann. I want him to make a Formula One game.
Hell yes. Yes, Neil Druckmann, do it.
Neil.
Do it now.
Neil, if you're watching this, and I know you are definitely watching this.
Most definitely, because we're still waiting for our checks for our reviews.
I need a Formula One game in your storytelling manner.
It'll just take what's happening in real life now.
Pretty good story mode, though.
Pretty good, yeah. Most definitely, yeah. So there's no doubt about that. The F1 games, just like the FIFA games, are very much, and Madden games, they are aimed for the people who love F1. And if you like F1, I think you'll love this game and everything like that. But if you want in a casual, simple story mode at the same time, Breaking Point's there for you. It's really a simple, good little story where you really can connect with the characters in a good way. And I really like that. I like that and for authenticness to it. I really enjoyed that.
Nice. Tell me though, Mooney. You talked about the story mode, whatnot. Tell me about driving. What's it like driving?
It's the same as last year's, what I mean by if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well,
Like
let's
they've tweaked
assume.
a couple of things. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, like you can't. They used last year. There used to be three fuel mixes you could use: lean, standard, or rich. It's now just down to lean and standard, and you can only use lean when you're under safety car conditions. Which
I'm
is
watching.
not
I've got the footage on my left hand side.
yeah.
You're a madman. But let's assume that people out there maybe haven't played a Formula One game since I don't know 1997.
Yeah.
Like, what's the driving like? Like, how intuitive is it? How deep do the assist modes or the accessibility modes go? Like, and how does it feel? Like, I mean,
Feels
yeah, it's
brilliant.
like last year, but let's assume we all haven't played last year's because
The assist modes can literally go to the full thing where they will control everything for you, apart from you steering the car and putting the pedal to the metal. You can go full assist of them doing the brakes for you. You can do full assist on doing traction control, full assists on pit entries, pit stops, DRS, the whole shebang. If you just want to concentrate on just putting down the right trigger and turning your left thumb going left or right, you can do that. And they are okay with that.
gotta go fast.
Yeah. Like I have the assist I have on are literally I have my braking at medium and I have traction control on. Where they can control traction, but everything else I'm pretty and the dynamic line. Everything else I sort out. I do the pitch stops for myself because I just prefer to do it, and I also do the ERS and fuel saving and whatnot. They'll also do fuel saving for you as well. But basically what they'll do is they'll fill you up to as high as they can go, so you can just go and you just wasting fuel all the way through. Yeah, but you won't run out at all until you're close to the end and everything, until until the last lap and everything. But no, yeah, it's really intuitive. It is really intuitive.
Looks pretty satisfying from what I've seen.
It is.
Played.
Yeah, it is. It is very satisfying. I really did. Last year, they really just bringing in the mode of like you creating your own team was that one little kink that I thought they really needed, and they it changed the whole dynamic of the game where you're just like, I could be on this for hours, and I was on this for hours when I played that. Now I've got this breaking point story mode, and I've just a couple of races into my career mode, and I'm really enjoying it and everything. It's like really, really good. The only thing, if anyone asks the question, have you played multiplayer? I never play multiplayer. It's not something I am interested in. I never have been. So if you think that's not good enough for a review, I do apologize for that, but it's just nothing I am interested in. I play this to play single player. At the time, there was no co-op, but I'm hoping eventually we will play co-op further down the line. And other than that, the game's brilliant, Amy. It really is, really, really.
So when you say career mode, do you mean the my team mode?
Yeah, there's two types. You can do team mode where you create your own team, or the career mode is where you can drive one of the Formula One teams.
And you're doing the career mode.
Yeah. Yeah, I create my own team mode, which I've sent you, which is called Words About Racing, ladies and gentlemen. We're powered by Mercedes engines.
I just want to point out that WAR would be the acronym.
WAR. I should just put WAR Mercedes Racing. WAR.
Cool. I love Sims and management stuff like that. Yeah. So I'll be like, that's the mode where you play co-op, isn't it? So I'll do all like cool like sim stuff, and you just win the races, and I'll try not to crash.
Yeah, both of those levels, career mode and your own teamer mode, is that you control basically the leveling up of the gate of the downforce, the chassis, your engine, and everything like that.
Like levels and like RPG.
Yeah.
Is it like
Kinda. It's basically yeah. It's an RPG element. There's no doubt about it. But it's basically like to say this is for the front end for downforce, or the back end. This will help drag, or this will help your wheel, your tire degradation, and everything like that.
I know about that. I played F1 Manager 2000. True story.
Yeah, I have.
That was also an EA game, funnily enough.
I know, really weird. And they now just bought the team who was creating the world famous F1 games right now. But yeah, it's I loved it, Amy. I absolutely really did. Like, if it was like it's just one little thing. It really is. Like the driving is pretty much the same. The cream mode is pretty much the same, but just that adding that one little thing can just change the whole dynamic and freshen it up for you, and like give you something else to a nice little treat to go towards and everything. And that's what they've done. That's what they did last year, and I gave last year's a high score, and this year's like took what last year did and made it even better by just adding that little story mode. Yes, is the acting the greatest? No. But it's heartfelt and it's and it's just really, really, it's fun. It is a fun drive, fun game.
Drive. You should drive. Fun drive. It is a fun drive.
It is a fun drive. If I don't know what people might say. What's the difference between this and like what's going to be coming? Obviously, Forza Horizon. This is a sim racing. That's it. This is for racing. Yeah. No, I was asked this last year about what is could like people of Horizon, like her motorsport and for Forza games like this. It's like, if you like sim racing, then yes, you boys will get into this. But if you're there to just drive around in the countryside like you do in Horizon, like the Forza Horizon games, then probably not. I know you do racing in those games, but it's not to the level of this. This is more detailed than those games in the like the upgrading the car and everything. That's just you putting your foot down and just driving like crazy and getting first. This is completely more different to that.
Racing a train.
Yeah. Yeah, true, yeah.
No trains. You don't race trains in Formula 1.
Yeah. I'll say one thing. When it comes to the tracks, like the curbs, they're a lot more vicious this year. There are some parts, like I've spun a couple of times already in my career mode, and I'm just like, oh god, that curb is vicious, and it just spanned me. I was like, oh no, the backhead's not like it. No, I've gone. Yeah, I've gone. Yeah. I've gone. Yeah,
great.
I've spun.
Can't wait to play it.
Yeah. Just do what all the racing drivers are getting told by their teams this year. Stay off the curbs.
Track limits.
Just stay off the curbs, Amy. Just stay off the curbs.
Good advice.
And everything. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've loved this game.
You're welcome.
I think it is fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you for allowing me to stream it, Amy.
Whatever. Like.
Yeah.
Got to stream something.
Yeah, I won't lie. I don't think my PC liked streaming and
Probably
playing the game at the same time. Yeah, it was kind of like listening to my PlayStation 4.
It's a pretty intense game. I imagine you have the settings cranked, and then you got to and then when you stream on top of that, it's like pretty hardcore.
Yeah. I just have the level of what they have. Yeah, I just have the level of what they already had me down for, so I just never tweak them.
That's why I like when I'm streaming, I will always be like, what console games do I have? It's like, I don't want I'm not putting my PC through that. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Especially not in his eat.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for my game. Let us know what you think of the game if you have played it. It's now time to bring Amy back into it. And to start with, we're doing the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Amy, the life and suffering of Sir Brante. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I thought you were going to do the thing that you do. Shit, I need to...
Oh, shit, yeah. I will give you that. Yes, I apologize for that.
I was like, it's cool. I've got time to collect myself. But wait, no, I don't. What's happening?
No, my apologies. You collect yourself. I'll get this sorted. I failed you, Amy. I will get this sorted.
You didn't fail me.
The life and suffering of Sir Brante. Right now, on Open Critic, ladies and gentlemen, it is at an 83 of the top critic average. And a 75% critics recommend. It is a strong Open Critic rating right now. General information is available on PC right now, developed by Server and publisher 101 XP. The genres are adventure, RPG, simulation, strategy, and an interactive story. The description of this game is that the life and suffering of Sir Brante is the narrative-driven RPG that comes to life on the pages of the protagonist's journal, set in a ruthless world where any form... Oh, excuse me, my apologies. Set in a ruthless world where any form of dissent is mercilessly crushed. The story follows a man who has dared to challenge the existing order. Set out on a lifelong journey and become an individual able to carve out their own destiny. But remember that freedom never comes cheap. We know this right now, who we're living under right now, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about this game, Amy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, okay. So you start this game at the end, basically, where it's like Brante, whoever this guy is, because like you don't know who he is. Again, the voice act, there's very little voice acting in some of the cutscenes. It's not amazing, but it does. Considering there's only probably like 12 voice lines in the whole game, it's fine. And he's like, "Oh man, what a life I had! Wow, so many twists and turns, and now I'm about to die. My true death. I'll come back to that later. So I think I'm gonna write it all down, and then that's the game, right? He's writing down his story, his life story. It literally goes like year by year, and starts from when you're born. And it's a visual novel, I guess, sort of. But when you say visual novel, you're probably conjuring up a certain image of like anime, right? Ah, Jesus. I wasn't expecting that. No. But I think you actually lit me up a little bit.
I think I have, yeah.
Everyone can see how much I'm sweating now. So it's like a visual novel. Lots of words, lots of prose, lots of dialogue, stuff like that. And that's it. You make choices throughout the game. Those choices are tough. Those choices will hurt. Those choices will inevitably come back and haunt you. and like some of the choices echo throughout the entire rest of Brante's entire life. It's awesome. It's called The Life and Suffering of Brante, and there's a lot of suffering. I'll let you ask some questions. I could go on describing it.
So is this so do you go through his entire life like you did with Wildermeth a few weeks ago that we talked about?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did a few you'd live a full life in those then that game.
Yeah,
so you go through his life.
You go through his life from the very start. Like the game starts after you've done the intro cutscene, and this guy's born. You choose his name. It's a visual novel with no voice acting, so you can literally choose whatever name because it just comes up on the screen. And then you make your first choice, which is I'll say what the first choice is. It's not really a spoiler. You can, you're born, you don't really know what the fuck's going on. There's these two giants standing over you, your parents, because you're like this big, and the prose is incredibly well written. It's very evocative. I really, really like the way they write the stories out. But yeah, you make a choice, and it's just literally like which. It's to get you used to the choices. So when you make choices, and I'll go into this in more detail because they do something really interesting with the stats that you get in this game because does have RPG elements. When you make choices, you're boosting stats. So like the game gives you a choice of like, do you reach out to your father who is like he's strong and stern and whatnot? Or do you reach out to your loving, affectionate mother? And then you get a stat boost based on which one you do. I mean, there's a third option.
And that's just to go,
fuck you, and then somehow go back in like, fuck you, motherfuckers, I'm out of here. I already saw the title of this game. I don't want to suffer. Bye. No, there's like a shadow at the back of the room that you can smile at instead and get a different stat bonus. It's an interesting world. And the way like things are revealed to you is fascinating because it constantly catches you off guard.
Very interesting. What's the gameplay like for you?
It's no gameplay. Like you literally all you're doing is you're reading and you're making choices. That's it. That's the entire game. There's other pages in the journal so you can keep track of stats and relationships between like family members and relationships between other characters that you've met, stuff like that. There's in each life for Brante is divided up into 5 stages. So there's like when you're a kid, when you're a toddler, when you're a kid, when you're a young adult, and then there's like when you're an adult, and then there's when you're older, and then so there's like 5 chapters essentially, and each of those is broken down year by year. And within each chapter, come on, camera. Within each chapter, there's like destinies. There's like if you raise one of your stats to a certain amount, you'll unlock a special event, a special scene that you can do. Or sometimes it'll be something's going to happen at some point, and if you manage to make a specific choice, you'll unlock a destiny. And stuff like that. So that like it's not like you're prodding through it completely blind. Like you can be like, oh, like okay, if I raise this stat to this, I'll unlock a scene. I don't know exactly what the scene is, but
Yeah.
the reward for that scene is usually it opens up choices, sometimes much further down the line. Like because you've done this, you can then unlock this choice later.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple times. Sometimes you can unlock this choice and this choice and this choice and this, and yeah. Consequences are a thing in this game. Hardcore style. It's great. I love it.
Oh, very good, very good. How's the writing?
Incredibly good.
Yeah, because that going on 5 game, my writing was terrible. Even though I enjoyed it, it was crap writing.
It was it's like popcorn movie, right?
Basically, if you wanted a Michael Bay movie, yeah, there we go.
But like one of the entertaining ones. I don't want to say good. One of the entertaining Michael Bay movies. Because I watched some of it.
So,
it just was entertaining.
Armageddon. Yeah. Cheesy as hell, but some terrible dialogue.
Yeah, no, it's
and
really
made you cry at the end.
it's really, really well written. This game is Brante. Needs to be. It's the only thing that happens in the game. Like you're literally reading the entire game.
Yeah.
But the prose is really evocative. It's very good at conjuring imagery. Like there's images in the game. There's a lot of art in the game. A lot of animated art as well. Like it's very stylistic in that regard. Like the whole game is very stylistic. Like you're literally reading a book the entire time. Like pages are turning as you're going through stuff. But no, the writing is really good. The characters are awesome. Like I'm not gonna do story spoilers, but like yeah, the characters are awesome, and like obviously like choices that you make mean that you'll get to know some of them more than others because you can't please everybody, and you should never try to please everybody. So like there was some characters in that game that fucking hated me, and I hated them. Like the feeling was mutual. Like you have relationship meters, and one of them was just literally at the bottom for one of the characters, and it was like we probably could have killed each other. But like yeah, as you get to know all the characters, and the writing for those is really solid. Like it's an incredibly well told story. It's very weird. Like the setting is like 12th century.
Yeah.
So like medieval times. It's medieval times, but like there's a lot of twists to it. So you start off and it's like, okay, it's the 12th century. So like this is ye olden times, right? Ye olden times. And then it's like, oh, no, wait, hold on. There's a giant pillar of light in the sky that can be seen from across the world. That's weird. And then it's like, oh, okay, like there's this whole religion that's been built up between the twins who essentially are like imagine if you knew heaven and hell and God was real. Like you knew for a fact that it was real. That's this world. And you can die in this game 3 times. I can't remember what they specifically called it. There was a specific term for the kind of death you could have. Basically, you can die 3 times, and you only get your true death when you die like a 4th time. That's it. You're dead. You're done. That's your life gone. I've been killed twice in this game. Once out of my own stupidity. There was a thing I did that I shouldn't have done. I died. The second time I was being a hero, so it's fine by me. I totally count that one as awesome. So that's the first thing you learn. The second thing you learn is that there's lots in this game. So like this whole society is built around lots. So there's 3 lots that and when you're either a priest who interprets the holy fucking doctrine or whatever. And they interpret that, including like the lots and stuff like that. And then they tell everybody like, hey, this is the word of God. Well, the word of the twins, I guess, in this. There's nobles who are nobles. They're the government, I guess. Like you have nobles. You can be born as a noble, or you can like do really well and ascend to noblehood, which is, I think, the main character's father is not a born noble. And then there's the commoners, whose lot is to suffer. And like literally, like there's stuff that happens in this game, and it's like commoners can't use weapons. Commoners can't ever like fight with anyone. Like they're not allowed. Like if a commoner attacks a noble, like they're sentenced to true death. Like it's probably a little bit on the nose, but this is obviously an incredibly unjust society. Like,
I was going to say that smells of nothing but on the nose.
yeah, it's well written in the way that it's not like hammering home its point, but it doesn't feel like it's hammering home its points.
Yeah.
And and the whole game is about navigating. So the game is very upfront with how it's going to end. Like it's going to end with a revolution. That you can see it right from the very beginning, when it's showing you like the life cycles and stuff. Like the full title of this game is like the life and suffering of Brante during the fall of the Archnean Empire. Like there's going to be a revolt at the end of this game, and it's like, and like you're navigating your life trying to get there, and it's like, which side are you going to be on? What are you going to do? Like how is your choices going to affect things going forward? Like as it's going on, like what's going to happen to the characters? What's going to happen to Brante? Like that's the meat of the story. But yeah, it's just like, you know me, Moody. And this game allowed me to take some stuff out in it that I wish I could do in real life, because I was just like, Brante is born as a commoner, even though his father is a noble, and you can go down any lot you want. You have the options at certain parts of the game to go down all of the different lots. You can be a noble quite early on in the game, and the entire time I was just like, nah, fuck your noblehood. I'm gonna burn this entire system to the ground. Like that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're bullshit. Like it's not.
But I have to ask the question. Sorry.
No.
I have to ask the question. So can you like choose to become a noble but burn it down from the inside?
I don't know. Like it's not a short game, so I've played it through once. Essentially, I don't want to do any story spoilers, so all I'll say is that I kind of went down the commoner path, like the entire time. Like I don't know what the options are. Like when you go down the noble path, it's like I think you have like 3 opportunities to like go up the noble path that I remember seeing. I'm
intrigued because I have this game as well, and I've been wanting to get to it. I'm just thinking, well, you've done that end. I'm kind of tempted to do the other end now, the one I've just suggested. I'm just thinking, can I burn it from the inside out?
You might be able to burn it from the inside. Like this is a very robust game. Like. And like, there's a tag on Steam. I've got this on Epic, but there's a tag on the Steam store page, which is choices matter. You see it on a lot of games, but like, this is a game where like choices really matter. Like, and they reverberate through the entire story. It's fucking awesome. Like, you can make a choice in childhood that will keep affecting your life as you're going forward, and it's great because it really makes you feel like, okay, so the story's going in a specific direction. Like, and you know it right off the bat, but like you still feel like all of these choices I'm making are important. Like this life that I'm living and through this character is important. It's awesome.
So right now, like you've played a lot of games right now that basically is like literally taking you from the life you have right now into a different life and letting you immerse yourself into it, which is really, really good. We've seen it. You've spoken about many games already doing that. But just like all those games, they aren't perfect, Amy. What has worked for you on this game?
So you don't actually have to play the game like this. But I'm going to talk about stats for a little bit. And it's not stats. The answer isn't stats. I love the way the stats work in this game. So during the first 2 phases of your life, toddler and child, like up until your like 16th birthday, I think it is, that's 2 chapters, and in the first chapter you have 3 stats, like determination and some other stuff. You can tell what I was focused on.
I thought they would have been eating, sleeping, and pooping.
No. So like every choice you're making is, it's not, instead of being like you must have a certain amount of determination to make this choice. Like that does happen sometimes, but most of the time it's flipped. It's the opposite way around. It's making this choice will give you determination, or will give you willpower, or will give you something else. Like, it tells you, like, gives you that list of choices that you can make and tells you what you're boosting up. So that's pretty cool. You can turn that off, by the way. Like, you can go into the options menu and you can turn off the game showing you what it'll give you. So you're making choices based on the choices, not the...
You're making choices blind.
Not
so
the stats.
You won't see what the boosts
You won't see what the stat boosts are. You're just making choices because that's exactly what I want to do. I mean, to be fair, Moody, I was kind of doing that anyway.
Yeah, I probably could turn off the boost to show you what you could get. I would just say, these are my choices. So if I'm going to decide to be a douche, I'm going to decide to be a douche. And I don't need to know what power-ups or whatever it's going to give me type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you do that in the first instance. And then in the second instance, you get 3 different stats. So like in your childhood, you get 3 different stats. So your determination and whatever else is put to one side. And then you get 3 different stats. And you do the same thing, You start boosting it up, doing this stuff. Like, oh, I'm going to get my ingenuity up or whatever it is. And then it does something really clever, but at the same time, I wish I'd known it was doing this. Like, I wish I'd seen this coming. So there's 3, like I said, there's 3 lots. There's 3 main paths through this game. And you've got these 2 time periods where you're leveling up 3 different types of stats. And then what happens is, I'm going to put my hands up here. These are the 3 groups. These are the 2 groups. And then when you get to adulthood, it takes these stats and it combines them. Okay. So, like, the 2 top level skills combine. So, like, 2 skills will combine into 1 skill, and the 2 numbers add together. So, what you're actually doing is really clever. What you're actually doing the entire time you're doing those first years, you're boosting these different skills, is you're actually setting up your character, like, for the rest of the game from adulthood onwards. You're setting up who this person is as a person, like, what they're good at, what they're bad at. And you can, as you go on, you still make choices and you can still boost skills and stuff. You're not locked in from that moment on. But it's really awesome and it's really clever. It's just I kind of fucked up and I wish the game would give me just a little heads up. Just a little heads up what it was trying. But at the same time, I think if it did, I don't think I would have been like, oh shit, that's really cool. Like, if it wasn't a surprise. So it's a positive and a negative. I'm not sure, like... It's kind of a 50-50 thing. It's really, really clever, but I don't know if I would have appreciated that cleverness if I had been given a heads up. But at the same time, I could have... But then at the same time, I'm thinking I could have made better choices, but then it's like, but would I have made different choices? Like, when my shithead fucking big brother was go like, oh, I'm a noble. Oh, you servant, you should do the thing because we've just sent our servant lady away because I'm a massive wanker, and I just took the piss out of him at the table. And then ran away and locked myself in my room. Would I have made a different decision there? No, probably not. Like, that was pretty satisfying. Even though I got punched in the face.
Oh.
Or, like, if you could kind of be a bit of a dick. Like, towards, like, nobles, which obviously, right, it's me. You get the shit kicked out of you throughout your entire childhood if you do this.
So that's the suffering part.
And I was like, worth it.
Indeed. Is there any other thoughts before we get on to your final thoughts for this? Anything else you want to bring up?
No, not really. I mean, you get your stats, you get family stuff, the interactions between the different characters. There's huge room for like different types of relationships with different types of characters, which is great. Like, and again, it just plays into that choices matter thing I was talking about, where it's like, you know, you can. Like, one of the strongest relationships my character had in my game was with his like younger sister, because I was just like, you are precious and I will defend you with everything that I have.
That's fair. Yeah,
but there's a lot of characters. Like, everything about this game starts off quite small, like quite condensed. You're a toddler, so you know your world is like the house that you live in, right? And it grows exponentially from there. So I think it's really well paced in that regard. You eventually, there's loads of characters, there's loads of relationships, there's loads of shit going on, like, and you're just going through this thing. Like, it's like life. You're trying to hoping that you're making decisions that are good and not fucking yourself over, like. And that's how life goes, and that's how this game goes.
Awesome.
It's great. And you can burn down the entire system. It's genius.
It's Amy's dream right now.
Yes. Burn it down.
down.
It's Rage Against the Machine, the video game.
Basically, yeah. So it's now time for the next game, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to leave for you to say the name, please, Amy.
Dorfromantik. I was like, which one's the next one? Oh shit.
Dorfromantik. Yes, Dorfromantik, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, and I've even checked on Metacritic, it has reviews, but it has no critic rating right now.
So it's an early access.
Yeah.
I probably should have mentioned that in Discord.
Oh? Yeah, that would have happened.
I forgot, sorry.
No,
yeah, it's an early access game.
So it's available on PC right now, and it's developed and published by Torcana Interactive. I think I've said that right, maybe. And the genre is strategy. Dorfromantik is a relaxing building strategy and puzzle game in which you place tiles to create ever-growing... Oh, God. Village landscapes. I'm just going to say that.
I don't have the Steam page up, Mike, on it.
I'm on OpenCritic.
Ah, okay.
For some reason, my mouse isn't working. Let's see if this works now. There we go. Oh, good God, that's a long description, but we'll get there. You can immerse yourself in a quiet, peaceful world at any time and take a break from everyday life. At the same time, the village offers a challenge to those who are looking for one. To beat the high score, you need to carefully plan and strategically place your tiles. You start with a stack. Okay, well, I think we're going into basically.
Yeah, you're going into the whole thing now. You're going into the thing. This is you're going to take my job, man.
I'm taking your job here, yeah, even though I haven't played the game. So, yeah. So, Amy, it is a strategy game, a relaxing game, apparently. Is that true? Yeah.
No, it is. It's a strategy game. It's pretty relaxed. It's pretty chill. I was playing it before we played Among Us yesterday. It's an early access, but I'm sick of waiting for it to come out, right? And it's one of those early access games where it's like it's ready. You know what I mean? They just added some features to it, stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm sick of waiting for this. The Steam sale was on. It was on sale. I fucking bought it, and then we had this 2-week period between games. Like the last episode of Fashionably reviews, there was games to play. The next one, there's tons of games to play. We had this period in between, and I was like, I want to play this. I want to play this.
Yeah.
Screw my backlog. Screw the 20 odd games I've got. I'm gonna play this. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out this year. So I'm pretty sure. But yeah, these are early access impressions. This isn't a review. You can't review an early access game. That's insanity. Yeah, this is really, really kind of cool and really relaxing. So you start off with like one tile. So if you imagine like a hexagon-based grid, like almost like a board game, right? And you've got this one tile in the middle, and then it's surrounded by hex tiles, and you've got a stack that's coming up like you're drawing cards almost, right? So like you've got a tile, and there'll be stuff on this tile, and it could be trees or houses or fields or like a river, like a railway track, something, right? There's stuff on this tile. And what you have to do is you have to place the tiles in such a way where like you connect the houses together, right? You connect the fields together. You connect the railways and the rivers and everything together. And like the better you do at that, the more points you get. Like if you make a chain of trees. So like the more tiles you start putting down. Like if you get all the ones with loads of trees on them and you kind of connect them together, you get loads of points. That's it. That's how it works. It's the whole game. Like it gets a bit more complicated than that. It gets a bit more complex than that, but like that is pretty much what you're doing. And like the stack of tiles, I think you start with 40 tiles at the start of a game, and you start running down them. And at certain points thresholds, you'll add to that pile, but eventually, like you'll run out, and then it's cool. That's it. The game ends. You get your score, and then it's like, do you want to do another one? And you go, yeah, all right, why not? Like I'll do another one, and then you go poof, and you start again. Got a new stack of tiles, got a new tile in the middle, and you just go through it again. That's it.
Very good.
Strategy game, like it is, but also like strategy game conjures like really in-depth sort of like micromanagement, like, and this is just put some fucking tiles on a board, like It's not any more complicated than that. Like, you can go into a little bit more detail, but I'll let you ask some questions. I don't know if you've got any questions.
Because the game's not complete or anything like that, I don't know where I can really start right now. Have you enjoyed what you've played?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's fun. Like, it reminds me, there was this game that came out 2 years ago called Islanders, which was a similar concept, where it was like you get cards and you put stuff down, and depending on how you put it down, you get more points if you put like all the forests next to each other, or if you put the wood mills next to the wood and stuff like that. But it was super chill and relaxing and stress free. And it's a very similar concept, but a different sort of presentational style to it. So I kind of knew I was going to enjoy this because Islanders was in my Game of the Year list in 2019. So I was like, I figured I would enjoy this, and I do. Like, I really do. Like, you start off with a basic set of tiles, and you can unlock more as you go on by as you expand your biome or whatever you're doing, you'll suddenly see there'll be a highlighted thing like somewhere in the distance, and it's like you build towards that, and then you unlock a tile, and then once you unlock the tile, you do a challenge associated with it, because you can unlock they're almost like quests. So say you might get a tile with houses on it, and it's like connect 25 of houses to this tile, and you'll get loads of points. And if you do the challenges, not only will you get loads of points, you'll also unlock new tiles, and then and then they'll come up in your deck, and then you can add more of that stuff. Kind of keeps it going, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of it's not just about putting all the fields together or putting all the trees together. Like, sometimes the challenge will be, okay, like, you've got a massive forest here, now you got to close it. You got to close it off, you got to block it off, it's done, it's finished, and then you close it off, and it's really satisfying. And I think that's one of the main things. I think it's just really satisfying when you put all this stuff together and stuff, and you just go, yeah, that was great. I'm looking at it like, I've got this huge forest, and then there's some houses over here, and we'll just ignore this bit where I fucked up some train tracks and had to abandon it, just ignore that down there. But all this stuff over here that I'm really proud of looks awesome.
I was going to say something really mean there, but I won't, because I think it would really offend you. So, knowing how you are and everything, I'll say it off stream and everything, just so you know. It says it obviously has puzzle mechanics. How are they?
Yeah, like that. I mean, I just kind of described them. Like, the puzzle mechanics are just like how to connect the objects on these tiles, because you can spin them around together in the way to get you the most amount of points. And even if you're not going for the leaderboard, right? Even if you're not trying to get high scores or whatever, it's still important to get lots of points, because you want to keep playing the game, right? You want to continue the game. So the way to do that is to score as many points as you can.
How's the art style? Is it pretty?
It's very pretty. Yeah, it's very cozy, right? You're essentially building a village. Yeah, it's very cozy. Is the best way to describe the art style, and the music as well. The music is very calming and very relaxing. It's a game to chill to. It's not Dark Souls. It's a game where you can just stick it on and you can play it for 20 minutes and just to relax. You can play it for longer if you want, but yeah, at no point, even when you fuck up, or even when you you've made a mistake or something, at no point was I ever oh fuck, I've died, why didn't I do it this way? You're just oh well, guess I'll move on. No big deal.
That's fair. Even though it's an early access game and everything like that, so the game's obviously not complete, but is there anything that didn't work for you?
No,
obviously it's a game, it seems like it's speaking to a specific, it's truly aiming for a specific genre.
It's a very, very specific type of game, right? It's the one thing I could say that might annoy some people is how it's how fleeting it is, right? It's you build all this stuff up, and then it just ends at some point, and it always does. Eventually you run out of cards, you run out of tiles, and that's it, you're done. And you just move on to the next one. And that could annoy some people. I could definitely see that some people being constantly starting over being annoying, but it's fine. You just do it again. I was never mad that I lost anything, right? Not really losing anything.
Very good. Is there anything else you want to bring up about it, or move on to your final thoughts?
It's cool. It's very cheap. I believe the price is going to go up when it comes out of early access, but right now it's like £8 on Steam. So like, if it sounds interesting and it sounds like something you want to go for, don't wait for it to come out of early access, or like at least wait until or if you want to wait until the release date, but get it while it's got its early access price. It's always smart, unless you want to support the devs and buy it at full price, which is cool too.
Get it while it's cheap, or get it while it's hot. Either way, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to move on to the next game, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Slipways for PC. There's nothing on OpenCritic for it at all, so I had to literally go to Metacritic.
That's weird.
Yeah, which has no score whatsoever, except the user score, which is obviously not very reliable whatsoever. But I will say what it is, which is an 8.3.
It's 94% on Steam. I've got the Steam page open, so
cool. So the summary right now, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'll go with that. Developed by Beetle Wing. Genres are strategy, turn-based, and 4X. I have no idea what 4X means.
4X is... I'll get into it.
Okay. The summary is Slipway takes the space the space grand strategy genre and condenses the best parts of it down by throwing away all the micromanagement and the steep learning curve. The result is a unique blend of the strategy and puzzle genres in which you can finish a run quickly but still have a deep experience full of tough decisions. Amy, you were shaking your head there, so clearly you agree.
Yeah, no. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like this game. The fact that it doesn't have any like scores on any review aggregators makes me wonder where did I fucking hear about this? No, there's a couple of things in the description and the tags that I don't agree with having played this game. Number one, this is not a 4X game. This does not resent. It looks like one. Maybe in screenshots, it is not a 4X game. Like 4X is like grand strategy games, right? Like 4X, the 4Xs are expand, exploit, explore, and exterminate. It's like Civilization, right? That's what a 4X game is. This is not a 4X game. This is a board game. It's what I came to realize while I was playing it. I was like struggling to sort of categorize it in my brain as like what kind of game I was playing. And it's somewhere between a board game and a puzzle game. So in Slipways, it's designed to be a strategy game you can play and sit in about an hour, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, you play a Civilization game, it can last hundreds of hours if you just keep going. This is designed to be played in about an hour. It's actually very similar in structure to Dorfromantik, now that I think about it. I kind of played two games that look very different, but are surprisingly similar under the hood. Oops. So again, you start off, and you've got your view. Like, you start off in the middle of this galaxy, and there's anomalies everywhere, right? And you can fire probes at anomalies, and some of those anomalies will be planets, and you can colonize those planets. And the idea is, it's all about. I guess it's kind of all about supply and demand, right? So I've turned away from my camera because I'm looking at the footage. I don't necessarily think it's not complicated, which was the other thing I was shaking my head at when you were reading the description. I think it's less complicated than Civ.
Oh, Civ can be complicated.
This definitely has complicated. Like, if you want to be good at it, like, so this game is set up weirdly. And you can ask your questions once I've done this. This game is set up in such a weird way where there's a campaign, right? And I wasn't I didn't play it. I wasn't that fussed about playing the campaign in a strategy game. But it's locked behind. You have to do standard runs, which is where you just play the game, and you've got 25 years. Like, every action you do costs time, right? But you've got 25 years, and then once you hit the 25 years, that's it, you're done. Or you can get impeached from office if you do a really bad job. And either way, the game ends, and it gives you a score and a star rating. You have to get to 3 stars in a standard run before you unlock the campaign. It's not as easy as it sounds. It took me a while to do that. Like, I was like, fucking, yeah, like, if you want a good star rating, Like, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, and you have to really think about every move that you make while you're doing this, which is where the board game analogy comes from, I think. But yeah, if you got any questions about it.
So going off what you were saying, obviously, what are your thoughts? What do you like this game? Did you enjoy what you played?
I do. Like, it's very different. Like, it's like Dorfromantik, right? It takes a genre and does it in a very different way. And like that will always earn my respect, if nothing else. But this earned my respect, and I also enjoyed it quite. I enjoyed it a fair bit. Like, it was quite addictive. Like, I played this because obviously, as everybody knows, watches the other podcast, I was self-isolating for 10 days. And this was a game I played during, like, I think the first or second day I was self-isolating, and I had to do that thing where I forcibly stopped myself from playing the game because I could feel in the back of my head those familiar, like, twangs like I get sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing, like, Stardew Valley or something, where it's just like, if I don't stop myself right now, the sun's gonna come up by the time I stop playing this game. So I'm just gonna walk away from the computer.
Just gonna walk away.
I'm just gonna walk away from the computer, and I'm gonna give it a week before I try this game again. Because otherwise, I'm going down the rabbit hole. And Moody, I had a lot of time on my hands, so I was like, I do not want to fall down that rabbit hole right now. Like, there's nothing to stop me from just fucking losing my entire week to this thing.
No one to stop you whatsoever. No one at all.
Yeah.
So obviously you said the gameplay is not this 4x thingy.
No.
So how are your thoughts on it? Obviously you seem like you were getting into it. It sounds like you got into it because you need to pull yourself away from it. So that's a pro. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
What people would obviously want to hear. They're obviously no, this is a good. Game.
All of the games that I'm talking about this week are for very specific types of people. This isn't like a Ratchet and Clank situation where I'm like, most people can have fun with this. This is like, you have to very carefully listen to the words that I'm saying about these games, because like some of these games will not be for you. And that's fine.
Well, I won't lie. I think that's probably all the games, because like say my game I talked about, I think it is.
Obviously, like it's F1, isn't it? So like, I guess it's like, what do you do in this game? Like, you launch the probes, you find the planets, you can colonize them, right? And when you colonize them, you have options. Mm-hmm. So, like, the different planet types you can do different things on them. And essentially, just to not go like full on super nerd into like how this game works, I'll try and break it down really simply. When you colonize a planet, there's a give and a take, right? There's a want and there's a produce. So, like, for example, when you colonize a planet, you can say like, okay, when you colonize it, this planet will need people, but it will produce robots. So, okay, right, that's that one planet doing that stuff, right? And then, so you get those robots, and then you colonize another planet nearby, right? And then you have that thing produce, okay, that planet needs robots, and it makes microchips, right? So then you connect the first planet to the second planet, and it sends its robots to the planet that needs the robots. Like a resource transfer. It goes to there. Yeah. Boom, that planet now has robots. And then once it's got robots, it stops being unhappy, which is a drain on your resources. So that's how one of the ways you can lose the game, if you have loads of unhappy planets. But your planets start leveling up, so they'll start producing more resources if you can start bringing in more resources. So like the next stage might be, okay, you need to link this. Now the planet's got robots. You need to link it to other planets. You need to send its microchips to two planets that need it. And that's where it starts getting to you, because all of a sudden it's just like, okay, because now you're back, and it's like, well, I need people for this first planet, right? So now it's like, okay, cool. Like, I need to figure out where I need to go to get those people. And then you get those people, and then it's like, okay, well, those people need these rocks, boom. And then, like, all of a sudden you've got all of these planets all over the place, and there's fucking slipways. They're called slipways. Those are the connections between the planets, and they're just fucking connecting all over the place. And it's just like, and then you go, okay, like, I've connected out all this way. And then you go back to the beginning, and you're like, but this planet still needs its people. So, like, how the fuck do I get, like, okay, I need to fucking start going in a different direction. It's really, really interesting. Like, it's very difficult. Not in a like I'm challenged sort of way, but just like, or I'm being challenged, I should say. Sorry, that was an insensitive turn of phrase. But just in a way of like, it can be sometimes heavily RNG dependent. It's like you need to have the right planets around. So you need to start doing forward planning because only certain planets can only do certain things. And you can do research later on and unlock different things in, like on different planets, different options and stuff. But it's like after a couple of hours, I played this for about 4 hours. After a couple of hours, it does start getting instinctual. Like you'll see a group of planets and you'll know what you can kind of do with it. Because the one twist is slipways can't cross. You can't cross, like the streams in Ghostbusters, you can't cross the slipways. So you have to be careful about how you're connecting your planets up, because you could like accidentally block off something really useful.
Never cross the streams.
Never cross the streams. Never cross the slipways either. Well, you can, but that's for later on. That's for later on. No, it's... like one of the things, because on the Steam Store page, right, one of the things in the description is you can research game-breaking technologies, and it's like you do research as you're going along. And like when you get to like the later level researchers, like the research projects near the bottom, it's you just break the game. Like you can literally just research stuff that just breaks the fucking game. It's awesome. Like you can't get much use out of it unless you do an endless run, because obviously then it just goes on and on and on. But like, you can spend like the last sort of like 5 to 10 minutes of like this 60-minute like run just with broken game mechanics. If you do your research right, it's awesome. Like, so one of the things you can research is slipways can cross, and then you just go nuts on the map, just sending slipways everywhere, and they're all crossed over the place. And that's why it's a end game technology, because it gets really confusing really quickly.
I can believe that indeed. How's the visuals for it?
Yeah, it's really good. Like I said before, it looks like a 4X game. So it looks like a 4X game. You've got the map view, and it's just a lot of planets. And then as you start connecting those planets, it's a lot of planets with like beams of light connecting to them. And there's like other stuff. There's asteroids and anomalies and other things that you can see on the map. But it's very basic.
I'm looking at it right now. Right now, literally when I look at it, I'm literally thinking, well, that looks like the sphere RPG mechanics that are in Final Fantasy X to level you up.
Oh yeah, this is bad. Yeah.
I was thinking, oh good God, that's where that's from.
But yeah, the visuals are basic, but I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, like I mean that in a way of it's planets on a starry background. Those are the visuals. It's very pretty to look at, but
yeah,
by necessity, it's very clean. We'll go with clean. Clean doesn't sound like I'm talking shit about the game, which I'm not. But...
yeah, simplicity is the best way sometimes, I would say. What didn't work?
RNG is a bitch. Like, we've played enough video games in our lives to know that having to rely on RNG is usually frustrating, and like you'll end up in situations that are impossible, right? It's like I need supplies, right? That's one of the things I need to produce. So you find a planet that produces supplies, and then you link it up, and it's great. It's fantastic. And then you start getting your because as planets level up, they start becoming like higher grades, and eventually you get to like prosperous and stuff. But then, like say the supplies need robots. Well, there's literally nothing I can do about that because of the planets that are around this one planet, and like it can be annoying when stuff like that happens, because like there's literally nothing you can do about it for most of the game until you can break. Like you can research technology where you can swap 2 planets positions, which could be really useful, but like for the most part, there's nothing you can really do about it for most of the game. And it's a thing you have to rely on. So like you can have an awesome game if you get lucky at the beginning, or you can have a pretty tough game if you get unlucky at the beginning, and like that extends throughout the whole game, right? It's just like the whole match of 60 minutes is just like you could just uncover a cluster of planets that are just like, well, I'm fucked. This whole corner is fucked. I'm gonna move away and go a different direction now. And
That's
happiness is a pretty critical mechanic because like it becomes a constant drain, and if it gets too low, you get impeached, and the game is over.
If only it was easy to impeach something in real life.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah.
anything else you want to bring up before your final thoughts?
I'm looking at it, and there are a couple of interesting mechanics. So you build when you start a new run, you build a council of 3 different alien races, 3 different races out of I think 5. And
Well,
these,
like how you said 3 different, I was literally thinking Mass Effect.
yeah, that's fine. But they don't like they have so when you do it, it gives you 2 things. Number one, it dictates the 2 species that you pick dictate. Sorry, the 3 species that you pick dictate the research tree. So like what you can research, and each one of them has their own specializations. So like as you start messing around with it, you'll figure out which ones you want to use that like suit your playstyle. And then during the game, they'll have tasks for you that if you complete them, you'll get a lot of research points, which you then put into researching the technology.
Which is what you would want.
So like it's pretty interesting. Like you can sort of set your own you can sort of like choose your own objectives, and you can sort of set your strengths, right? So like you can choose the species that gives you like free research bases, so you don't have to build your first 2 research bases or whatever, or the ones that let you unlock the technology that let you sort of build a way station, so you can connect like if there's a planet that's just a bit too far away but you need to connect it, you can build a station in between it and connect it via the station, stuff like that.
That sounds pretty cool. What like?
It's a pretty cool game. All of these games that I'm talking about, these last 3, they're all a result of me just going through the Steam sale and going through the Epic Game sale and just being like, oh, it's interesting. And it's cheap, so I'll give it a go.
I know. Final thoughts before we move on to it.
It's pretty fun, but the one thing I don't like, and obviously, Moody, you know this, is because I was shaking my head at the beginning of this this section, is I don't like the fact that people call it a 4X game with a lot of stuff stripped out, because it's not a 4X, it's nowhere near a 4X game. You explore, and you exploit a little bit, but that's it. Like,
but you don't have the other 2 that's very important to the game.
This feels very much like not necessarily a puzzle game. It's a board game, right? Like if you like board games, you'll like Slipways. If you like 4X games, you might like Slipways. Depends what you like about 4X games, but yeah, that's my sort of warning, right? It's a good game. Just you need to know what you're getting yourself in for before you buy it if you're looking at it.
Very good, very good. All right, we're going to move on to the final game, ladies and gentlemen. And for one final time, Amy, can you say what its name is?
I believe this game is called Pecaminosa. And before you do the summary thing, I would just like to point out that I received a code to review this game. So, you can't sue me now. No one can sue me. I told you all.
Cool. General information, ladies and gentlemen. It is available on PC. It is developed by Serial Games. Developed by Badline Publishing, and is in genres are action and RPG. At this moment in time of talking about this game, this has no review critic or no reviews on there right now of no score. There are some reviews, but there's no score right now. I'll say it like that for the open critic. The description of this is the game blends the charm of pixel art and the mechanics of an action RPG with the atmosphere of the film noir. The Legend of Zelda combined with touch of evil. You have not seen and played anything like it. Interrogate suspects, explore a city dominated by crime and sin. That's life now. And never hesitate and use your fists and guns. So America, these are hard times in a very tough city.
Very noir.
Very noir indeed. Amy.
Well, the touch of evil reference, I like that. That's good.
That's the description. So.
That's an old Orson Welles film from like the 50s, which is like one of the quintessential noir films. I like noir as a genre. Like I've been flying under the radar this week, Moody. A lot of the games I've been talking about, just nobody has played apparently. I do like Noir though, so that's why I was very disappointed with the hour and change I played of this game because I just could not get into it for a variety of reasons, unfortunately.
So before you get into the variety of reasons, did anything work for this for you on this game?
There's a couple of things. The pixel art is really nice. It's very, very nice to look at. Like you and me both, like we both appreciate good pixel art, and this is very good pixel art. And the music is awesome. Like the noir sound, noir-esque soundtrack is really good. So like the presentationally, like from the art and the music, like those two things stand out as being really positive to me.
Awesome. What didn't work?
Everything else, like, like,
Wow.
So I'll start with the first thing I noticed, which was, and I almost feel bad like calling this out in a way because the writing is really heavy-handed, like, and I think it's intentional. So I don't want to say like, well, it's bad, because I think they intentionally wrote it in a certain way to be like really cheesily noir, like.
Yeah.
Like all of the characters and the dialogues that they have are just like it's screaming noir in your face, right? Like, this is a noir. Do you get it yet? Like, well, it's got its like hands like grabbed in your head, just screaming at you. And I like the genre. Like I played Genesis Noir a few months ago, or a game I really liked. But I don't know. I think for me it was too much. It was too much. Like, it was too much noir. Like, I'm gonna get shouted out for that by somebody. But like, no, it was really over the top and really overwritten, and it was immediately apparent, like with the first sort of scene with dialogue in it, that I was like, oh, I hope the whole game's not like this, because this is too over the top. This is way too over the top, and it was way too over the top.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pixel art right now, and I like pixel art. Like, there's some beautiful pixel art games out there. Going off what I can see right now, this looks kind of a little bit basic for me.
I like it. It works for
works
for the genre that it's trying to sort of fit itself into.
Yeah. So going off from, I'm not gonna say like who's like spoken about these games from right now, what's on OpenCritic, but going off what I'm looking at, I would say this is a very mixed game overall.
Okay, that makes sense.
People are saying, people are seem like they're mixed on. I've seen some people say they really enjoy it, and there's others that's just saying it just didn't work for them, type of thing. That's just been main niche going off what I'm reading here.
To sort of jump up to a high level again for a second before we get back into the nitty gritty of it, I think Pecaminosa falls into the same category I was talking about with the three games I was talking about before, where I think it's probably going to appeal to a very specific group of people. And I think just in this instance, I don't think I was one of the people. That makes sense. Like, it wasn't for me.
There's a game that just wasn't going to work for you, yeah? And that's what can happen out there. There's no doubt about it. Like, a game you may think is going to work for you, but you give it a try and you just go, oh, this is not working. It's nothing against the game. It's just not, just not clicking for me, type of thing. And that's just one of those things.
I was laughing at the footage that came up on the screen. Ask me about the combat.
How's the combat?
So the combat, Mooney, I'm glad you brought that up. If you were watching this, you were watching this on youtube.com/wordsofgames.uk, you might have just seen the clip of me figuring out how broken melee combat is in this game. So there was a moment where it was like you go to a strip club and you get some information, and the stripper won't give you the information unless you get rid of there's like a fucking pervert in the club, and it's like you can get rid of him.
Like there always is.
Yeah, you can get rid of him, and it's just like you can get rid of him in a variety of different ways, because this is an RPG. You have sort of 4 stats: intelligence, force, endurance, and a one beginning with L, because the system's called life, but I can't remember what the L. Look, that's the one. And like if you've got like high skills in like intelligence, you can use that in a conversation to move the story forward. I saw this guy and I was like, I'm just gonna choose force anyway, because like I want to beat the shit out of this guy, because he was doing this whole like he wasn't respecting someone's consent, and If I see you doing that shit, force is coming. Let me just put it that way. My force, my fist, your face. But what happened was we went outside and it was like, cool, like, let's take this outside. Like, don't do it in the club. I was like, all right, cool. So I went outside and if you just run forward and spam the button, you just kind of go, ba 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 ba, and then you just knock them out. And that's how melee combat works. And I was like, oh no. Like I'd figured it out before where there was like a boss fight, I guess, or like a fight in a penthouse. And I tried to do it where I was like dodging and blocking and going bah bah when it was an opening, and then the guy killed me. And then the second time, whereas like I respawned and I was like, I went in and I just did the thing. I just went up to him and I just went bam 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 bam. Barely took any damage. I was like, wait, hang on. That can't be right, surely. Turns out that was right. There are bosses in the game where it's a little bit more. You need to employ more strategy than that, but for like even basic enemies, you could literally just run up to them and hit spam RB, which is the punch button, and just punch shit out of them until they fall over, and you'll be fine. Very disappointing. It feels very clunky when you're moving around. It's a twin stick control scheme. So, you know, you're using the other stick to sort of aim, but, like, I don't know, it felt difficult to figure out to point my gun in the right direction. Like, I was doing a boss fight, which is up on the screen right now, and it's against a guy with a big hammer, and the stage is on fire, and he's dropping boxes on you every now and again, and it felt really clunky and really unsatisfying to do. Like, you can see me give up trying to dodge this. So, like, I dodge the boxes, but, like, he does this big hammer attack where it'll go boom, and then it goes into, like, three, like, splits off in, like, 3 energy waves that come out. And you can see me kind of give up trying to dodge them at a certain point. It's just like, I just want to get this over with. Like, I've got enough healing. I can tank this fight. You can't get close and do the punchy thing, though, because he'll just swing his hammer at you. And, like, dodging is stupidly not... It doesn't work. Like, you do a dash, and you go whoosh, and then, like, you go flying, but, like, the timing on it is really ropey, and you push the button, and it feels like there's input lag for starters. The timing on it is pretty ropey, and then because you've used your stamina to dash, to dodge, you move slower. Like, not... just in general. So it's like, cool, I've just screwed myself over, and, like, you still take damage through blocking, so there's no point in doing that either. So you just... I was just like, oh man, I got through that boss fight. I did a little bit more of like walking around and doing some of the quest stuff, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't. This really isn't for me, and I don't want to keep playing it, have a worse time, and come on here and be even more negative. You know, if that makes sense. Like I said on Twitter a few weeks ago, I like to try and be like, there's people on the end of these reviews, right? And it's like, I like to try and be as nice as possible about games that I don't like.
Yeah, we don't like the bash on them or anything like that. We can appreciate it. Like, sometimes it just didn't work for us, and it just seems like this game just didn't work for you, Amy. But whoever it does work for, that is fantastic, and we celebrate that, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you have enjoyed this game, let us know. Let us know, and let us know what was the thing that clicked for you about this game or whatnot. Please be nice in the comments and everything like that, because like, the game may not have worked for him or anything like that, but it doesn't mean it's not a good game or anything like that, because obviously games are for everybody. Different games work for different people. So, well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. 5 different games. We had a lot today, Amy. Well, you had a lot. I had one game.
No, but you had the big game, the game I can put in the title and on the thumbnail, and that'll draw people in. And then I had the really nerdy stuff that no one's really heard of.
but you can forget, Amy. We have to go.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
We have to pull the
no.
Or go to.
I'm not doing that.
Oh,
I'm not doing that. I refuse. Can't make me.
That's true. You're the one who edits it and posts it, so I can't make you do anything at all. So that's all right. Yeah. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, what your thoughts on all the games. If you've played them, give us let us know and everything what your thoughts on it. Some great different games out there. Like, say, one may not have worked for Amy, but if it works for you, let us know and whatnot. I think that's it, Amy. So
I think that is it. Yeah. Like, I have a question for you though. It's very brief. It's very brief. Don't worry. I'm gonna let us get out of here soon. I'm dying. So, like, obviously, the next fashionably late review. I don't know why I always do that. The next fashionably late reviews will be. Let's just say it's going to be jam packed. There's a lot of games coming out next week. But on Tuesday, Chris Tales and Death Store comes out. Now, we're both excited for both games, but I want to know, which one are you going to play first? Did I just ask you to choose between your children?
Probably Chris Tales because I've tried that one.
Fair play. Cool.
As I hadn't chance to try Death Store or anything. I don't know if there was a demo.
There wasn't a demo. No.
Yeah. So
okay. Cool.
Chris Tales probably gonna be the one I'm gonna try and everything.
Cool.
Like say I've got another game I've got to try playing.
You do. Yeah, I'm really excited for you. Like you're doing the Game Critic thing, really. You've got a game like 2 weeks before it comes out. It's you get to play it and no one else and you can't talk about it, and no matter how badly you want to.
Yeah, for a while.
You talk about it with me. Privately.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But no
my conversation at all.
Like as somebody who wants to play this game, but obviously it's on PC, so it's problematic for me to play it. But like I'm really curious because I'm really interested and I'm really curious what you're gonna say about it, and that's all we're gonna say about that game because we're under embargo right now.
Yeah. Well, like there's a lot coming.
There is a lot coming.
Theoretically, for next week, I have 3. And that's the one, obviously, which I'm embargoed for. Well, we are embargoed. You know what it is and everything like that.
I know what it is.
I am embargoed about. Chris Tales and Death's Door, which all 3 I'm looking forward to. The one I embargoed, I am going to start tomorrow. I will say that because the other 2 don't
come out till Tuesday. Yeah.
There'll be a lot of chance to at least crack onto it on tomorrow. Literally just going to say to my partner, just leave me be 4 hours. I want to get good juicy.
It's the type of game that you've really got to sort of immerse yourself in, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going to start with Death Store. I'm really looking for. You know how long I've been looking forward to Chris Tales, but it's like I think I'm going to start Death Store first because I feel like once I start Chris Tales, I'm in until the end. Yeah. I want to try Death Store first. That's where I'm coming from with that.
Okay, but. Obviously, this is the bi-weekly review, so we aren't going to be talking about those 3 games until the 1st of August.
I mean, there's like 12 games coming out the week after as well, so it's like there's some of those games or games I really want to play. I know that at least one of those games you've got pre-installed on your Xbox.
Yes, I do. No, I've got pre-installed on my PC.
On your PC, so it's like
you can pre-install.
If we split up, which I think we might, especially in that second week, we could have a big episode coming up.
Let's hope it's not as hot on the 1st of August.
So what we need is God, if you're up there listening, for the love of fucking God, the next time we have to record one of these episodes, we need like snow, right? It needs to be fucking cold because I can't do this for 2 hours, which is what I'm envisaging this being the first 2 hour episode. Like
right now, I would say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games. That's just we can guarantee that are going to be talked about.
Yeah, I think.
But then we've got. That are coming out the second week that I don't even know which ones you're going to actually go for, apart from obviously the Ascent.
I mean, you want to go for that. I don't think like the Ascent. So we'll wrap up after we've said this last. After we said this last bit, like so with the Ascent, it's not that I don't want to go for it. Right? It's that one I know in the back of my mind that you're likely to go to play it. Right? Maybe. Yeah. I don't, you know me, I don't hold you or anything. And 2, like, because of that, there's like so many other games coming out that second week that I'm interested in that I'll be more likely to play one of those and then come back to the Ascent if I feel like it later on in the year. So
because the week after it doesn't help either. The week after those 2.
None of the week, all of the weeks going all the way to like fucking November don't help, but
August is disgusting.
There's only like 1 or 2 games a week from that point on where I'm looking at them going, yes. So I think I can manage that. It's the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's July. July has always been the time where I catch up on the games I missed in the first half of the year. What is the games industry doing? Like,
It's called COVID, Amy.
disgusting.
It's
It's
called COVID.
disgusting, and I don't like it.
Yeah, that's true. But don't worry, Ubisoft delayed a game and pushed another. If you didn't see all that, but
Well,
I
on
tweeted.
that note, I've
posted
got
in
Ben and
Discord.
Jerry's in the freezer, so let's get out of here.
Bye, everybody. Much love.